Welcome back to episode 90 of the ATD Baseball Podcast. Kyle, we are 10 away from the big milestone number 100. We're almost there. We got 10 more to go. We're not quite there yet. We got stuff, if you can't tell too, by the way, live on location again. I'm at Dodger Stadium. I will set the scene for pretty much the upcoming week and a half here at Dodger Stadium, but we got some topics that we want to discuss. But before we get into all that, Kyle, how you doing?
Doing fantastic, man. I can't complain. The Yankees a little shaky over the weekend. It's all good though. We'll get into it. Other than that, man, I'm doing fantastic. How are you doing?
I'm doing good. I'm glad to be back home. So let me set the scene for this next week and a half here at Dodger Stadium. I don't remember the last time this occurred, but we have three American League teams coming in. We got a three-game series starting tonight against and of course now blanking on the Seattle Mariners. Justin Turner returns home, and I'll touch on him when we get to the Dodgers portion of it. Um, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. And then off Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, we got the Tampa Bay Rays coming into town. And then I'm very excited for this next week, and I'll touch on it when we get to next week's episode. Got the Baltimore Orioles coming into town. A team that I'm very anxious to see because I did not get to see them when they came to Angel Stadium earlier in the season. I wanted to, but I didn't. So I'm glad we're going to be able to see Baltimore next week. Maybe a World Series preview, you never know. We'll see how the Dodgers do this week, and I'll start getting excited. But that's the scene here at Dodger Stadium. Three American League teams. I'm not used to that. I'm used to the Rockies. I'm used to the Giants. I'm used to the Padres. I'm not used to this. This is Kyle territory. This is the teams
Yes,
that you're used to seeing all the time.
that it is. And I'll tell you one thing. I'll be a huge Dodger fan, especially next week. So
Hey,
need you guys to take
we're
care of
willing to
business.
help you. We are willing to help you. Um, Topics that we want to get in today. Two big injuries, two big blows for teams that are competing. Obviously, this happened today. Austin Riley pretty much done for the season with a fractured hand. That sucks. Ketel Marte, I believe he got hurt over the weekend. I think, but that sucks. What did you say again? Was sorry. Um,
Marte is dealing with a ankle injury that's been lingering for a little. And then Austin Riley, 6 to 8 weeks is the timeline for him.
right. Um, I'll ask the question when we get to it, and then Dodgers, Yankees. I mean, this is gonna be
Yep.
a pretty short episode because not much has happened, and I may or may not be on a time clock here, but we'll get it in. We'll be all right. Um, so I guess just to start right off the bat here, um, I'm just gonna ask you, which injury is a bigger blow? Austin Riley for the Braves or Gatel Marte for the Diamondbacks?
Straight off the rip here, I'm gonna have to go with Ketel Marte. Austin Riley is a huge blow to the Braves, but yet again, the Braves have been underperforming and they've also been injury riddled all season long. So this isn't new territory for them. They're gonna pick it up, and they're just gonna have to deal with Riley being out for 6 to 8 weeks. Marte, on the other hand, he's been a huge contributor to that Diamondbacks team. A Diamondbacks team that is, kind of gunning for the Dodgers here. And,
No, they're not.
kind of
No, just
competing.
kidding.
That's where that's where their sights are set. We'll put it that way. Kind of battling it out with the Padres here for a little bit. But if, obviously timeline, once more news comes out on Marte and how long this is going to linger, or if it's going to require a longer than a 10-day IL stint, then, we'll come back to it. But as of now, I'm expecting the worst for both injuries, so I'm going to have to go Ketel Marte. They're in contention, and they have a chance to make some real noise, not only in the NL West, but also in that wild card race. So for me, it's definitely Marte.
Um, for me, I'm gonna have just to play devil's advocate here. I'm gonna go Austin Riley just because he was one of those guys up until yesterday was not riddled by the injury bug. He was pretty good of staying healthy, staying on the field. You had, Strider getting hurt, you had Acuna getting hurt, you had all these other guys getting hurt. And then you lose one of your key pieces. Listen, I mentioned this in the video that I put out earlier. I understand that the goal in Atlanta right now is not to just get in the postseason, it's to win and win the World Series. But if this team, with all the injuries that has happened to them, if they can get into the postseason, super impressive. I still think they're going to get it. Just looking at the teams that are behind them, the Mets, the Giants, I still think they're a better team than those teams that I just mentioned. But losing Austin Riley, man, that puts a damper into it. It really does. Both of them are unfortunate, don't get me wrong. But just because you win Marte, I'm going to go Austin Riley.
Understandable. I think both of these injuries are going to be playing huge parts to these teams in near future. Yeah, and Riley's been productive this year, man. He's been kind of the go-to guy with all these injuries. He's looked at as one of the leaders in this clubhouse, and I'm not taking anything away from Riley's injury because no matter what, both of these injuries they're gonna put a damper on both these teams. Unfortunately, it sucks. It's part of the game, and these two guys are huge pieces of contending teams. So it sucks, but unfortunately, it's part of the game, and I'm curious to see how these teams are gonna kind of answer to these injuries for sure.
Yeah, that's very interesting because obviously, listen, this National League has been so weird this year. Dodgers are like a game, they're like a half a game out of the best record in baseball, but then they're also like 3 losses away from being second or third place in this division. So it's weird. But do you think the Diamondbacks and the Braves will stay in their positions, or do you think one moves up or down? Because right now, Atlanta's the 6th seed in the National League, and I believe Arizona would be, I think, either the 4th or the 5th seed. No, they're the 5th seed. They're the 5th seed. Do you think they flip flop? Do you think they move? Do you think they stay the same?
That's an interesting question because I think it could go either way. If I had to put money on it right now, I would probably have to say that Arizona dips. This is a team that I don't really know who's going to be the corresponding move. I don't know who's going to take over second base while Marte is out. But this Diamondbacks team doesn't have as much firepower as that Braves team does. And I understand the Braves are injury riddled. I get it. But they have proven guys in that clubhouse who can turn it around and kind of pick up the slack for the pieces that are already injured. So for me, obviously Marte is the go-to guy out there in Arizona. And, losing a piece like that, that's got to put a damper on them. And, if I had to put money on it, I'm going to have to go with the Diamondbacks kind of taking a dip. And I think the Braves, they might, they're going to hurt from it no matter what, but I think they can stay afloat more than what Arizona can without their star player.
And I really feel bad for Ketel Marte because there's been a lot of momentum and movement that he should be the MVP of the National League over Shohei Ohtani. I understand, people are saying, Ohtani's only a DH, he doesn't play a position, yada, yada, yada. That's all nonsense. Dude's going to hit 50 home runs and almost have 40 stolen bases. He's going to win the MVP. But I can see why the case was made for Ketel Marte. And like I said, we still don't know the severity of the injury. This could easily, be a Austin Riley situation where he's done for the rest of the season, or he'll come back, but he won't be the same. I mean, those are those are probably like the 2 worst injuries to have. You need your hand to swing a bat. Obviously, you need your legs, or you need your legs to move and stuff. So, I feel bad for Marte. He was having an MVP type season. He's still gonna finish top 3, even if he doesn't play another game this season. But it sucks. It sucks. Weird year with the injuries, man. Weird. A lot of these teams are getting hurt. Seems like the American League is kind of done okay. It's the National League that has kind of been bitten with the bug. You know, the Diamondbacks have had a bunch of guys hurt. Phillies at the beginning of the year had some guys that were hurt too. Dodgers have had it all year. Um, so it's crazy, but I don't like all these injuries. It's bad for the game because you miss out on some of the best players, man. There's still a bunch of guys that we haven't seen play, or they've been out for a long time. It sucks.
It does. I couldn't agree more. Obviously this is a big thing, and things kind of need to get put on back on track. I don't know if that goes into the off season, conditioning, workouts. But these injuries suck, man. No matter what, it's just no matter who it is, no matter what team they play for. I don't care who the hell it is. These injuries suck, and baseball is a better game when everybody is healthy. Best product on the field, and that's what drives the game. So these two injuries suck, and it's going to be interesting to see how these teams bounce back.
Final question about this. I think I know where you're gonna lean with this, but I'm gonna ask it anyways.
hmm
Which team would you rather see in the postseason right now? On August 19th, would you rather see the Mets get in, or would you rather see the Braves get in?
Um, these two teams really don't have much towards me and my feelings. This might shock a lot of people, but I'm gonna have to go with the Mets here.
I'm
I
leaning
I
the
think it's
same
the
way.
better. I I think it's the better story, man. This Mets, and don't get me wrong, Atlanta battling all injuries all season long, and getting in, that'd be a cool story. But for me, I'm a Yankee fan, and most Yankee fans hate the Mets. I'm kind of on that other side of things. I kind of root for the Mets when they're not playing the Yankees, just because, hey, New York, stand behind each other a little bit.
Wow, you would
So for
never have
me,
that with me with the Angels. Jesus, man.
I don't mind the Mets, man. David Wright was one of my favorite players growing up. So for me, the Mets they'll always be the little brother to us. Don't get me
Oh
wrong
yeah.
here, but at the end of the day, I think the Mets would be the cooler story. They had no expectations going into 2024. This team was kind of already counted out before it even started. So it's cool to see this team, and you and I kind of had that whole behind the Mets
Yeah,
at the very beginning.
that's true.
So for me, I'm gonna stick with my guns here, and I'm gonna go with the Mets.
Yeah, in terms of being right, oh, I want the Mets. Because I did say they would be in contention going into September. I needed them to hang on for just another 2 weeks, and I can cash in. I mean, I'm not going to win anything, but it's pride. It's for me. It's points for me. But
Baseball fans, man, I get it.
exactly. So I want to be saying, hey, you know what? I was right on that one. That was kind of just a shot in the dark a little bit. Um, Moving on to the last topic here, then we'll call it a day. Obviously, our teams. We do this every week. I'll start with the Dodgers. Um, they took the first two from Milwaukee, and then they lose the next two. Disappointing, especially because they looked so good in the first two games. And I was telling everybody, see, this is why you get Mookie Betts back in the lineup. You see. Now we're gonna go off and running it, and they lose the final two games to the Brewers. Um, then they go to St. Louis. They win a crazy game Friday, lose Saturday. I knew they were gonna lose Saturday, and then they win yesterday 2-1. Um, Michael Kopech, arguably the best trade of the deadline, arguably, dude has been untouchable. When he's like Eric Gagne when he's coming out of the bullpen, he's literally been automatic so far. His velocity was down yesterday, so but that's because they had used him already twice in the last 4 days, so he's tired obviously. But Michael Kopech, that's your Dodger, that's your typical Dodger, put him in the lab player. Everything that we heard about this guy when we traded for him was negative. Hey, yeah, he throws hard stuff. He throws over 100 miles an hour, but he either leaves it over the plate or he just can't throw it for strikes. And good luck with his breaking ball and stuff. Dodgers have fixed it, and we have been asking for the last week to make this dude the closer. And sure enough, Dave Roberts, which is rare, he listened to us, um, and he did the smart baseball move, put Michael Kopech in as a starter. I mean, as the closer, excuse me. And he's got the job done. So, um, very happy for that. It seems like the Dodgers have finally solve their closing role. Now listen, I can come back in a week and he's not good, and I could be, well, get him out of there. We got to figure this out. But for right now, Michael Kopech has been a huge, huge addition and a huge boost to this Dodger bullpen. So I'm happy about that. I mentioned it to you earlier. Justin Turner coming back to Dodger Stadium for the first time since 2022, which is crazy. It's almost been 2 whole seasons since he's been back here, but because after he left in free agency, he went to Boston. Obviously, Dodgers went to Boston last year, so we didn't get to see him. And then he got traded to Toronto. Or no, he signed with Toronto. And then he got traded to Seattle. So this is the first time that he's coming back to Dodger Stadium. Happy. I miss that dude, man. I really do. The Red Dream. Listen, he created a lot of memories for me. NLCS MVP with Chris Taylor, 2020 World Series champion. Big clutch postseason hitter. A lot of Dodger fans, a lot of people around baseball forget that. Dude was clutch. Hit so many big home runs, got so many big base hits in the postseason. It's going to be emotional. I think it's going to be emotional for him. I think it's going to be emotional for the fans because it's not like he was just here for 1 or 2 seasons, got some knocks, and that was it. He was here from the very beginning of this, when the Dodgers had just started winning NOS titles, before Shohei Ohtani, before Mookie Betts, before Freddie Freeman, before all these guys. Justin Turner was one of the original ones, man, in this kind of golden age of Dodger baseball in the last decade. He's was one of those that was there from the very beginning. And he was part of some great seasons and some heartbreaking seasons, but I'm proud that he was a Dodger, and I hope he can come back and say that he was proud to be a Dodger, and I hope he can look around and hope he appreciates, and I know he'll get the love of the Dodger fans and the Dodger faithful, because he did a lot for us. He hit a big home run here in the NLCS in 2017 off of John Lackey to beat the Cubs. Again, got a bunch of big base hits in 2020. So I hope he gets his flowers today, and I know he will. The Dodgers are always good of when they have one of their own coming back for another team, they're very good of honoring them and paying tribute. So very happy to see Justin Turner back. Kind of sad. I wish he was still a Dodger, but I think he's going to be one of those guys that he's going to sign a one-day contract to finish his career with the Dodgers, but we'll see. Also on them, not just keep trying, just keep winning games, man. Listen, I understand the Padres schedule is very easy right now, and it's going to get tougher, and so is the Diamondbacks. Got to get your wins when you can get them, man, because up until pretty much on last weekend, Padres and the Diamondbacks have been red hot, man. So you got to keep it. You got to just keep winning games, man. Listen, I didn't think the division race was ever going to be this close. I thought the Dodgers were going to be running away with it still. But it just goes to show you of why we play 162 games, and this is obviously far from over. And listen, even though Dodgers have been embarrassed the last 2 years in the postseason, by having a week off, I like the fact that they're playing meaningful games in September and in August. Gets you ready for the postseason, so you're not deer in the headlights against a division rival or another team. Do I wish they were winning the division by 10 games? Yeah, I do. But sometimes you need this. And I'm glad the Dodgers are going to have to earn it. And I'm kind of glad they're getting humbled a little bit. Because I think everybody walked into this season and, we're going to win this division easy. We're going to win over 100 games easy. Not the case. They're going to have to earn it. So that's all I got on my Dodgers.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, you kind of hit it all right on the head there. Michael Kopech, he's been phenomenal for you guys. And this was a game that I kind of marked on my calendar ever since Justin Turner went to Seattle, and it makes it better because the Yankees don't play tonight, so I need something to do. So I'm going to be tuning into this Dodger game. Heading on over to the Yankees side of things, I'm going to start this off by saying Aaron Judge, okay, he hit number 300. He became the fastest player in MLB history to do it in terms of games. He beat out Ralph Kiner's record. I I could sit here and talk to you all night long about this, but obviously I'm going to keep it short and simple. Aaron Judge is phenomenal. I think, and I'm not trying to be biased here, but I think he's been the best player in baseball all year long. What this guy's doing is just honestly insane. After that first month of the season, he kind of just turned on the Jets and never looked back. This guy's, he's batting over 300. He's gonna, right now he's at 43 homers. He has a chance to, he's got to pick it up a little bit here, but he's got a chance to beat this record right behind me. We'll see about that, but I am very excited that he's a Yankee for the rest of his career. There's not much more I could say about him. In terms of the Yankees as a whole, they've been okay. Obviously they still have yet to take over this division with the way Baltimore's been playing. To be quite honest, neither team has been able to take advantage of the other team's bullshit that they're putting on. Last week they started a series against Chicago. The night of our recording, they ended up losing 2-12. What the hell was that? First off, second.
Sorry, and I don't mean to interrupt you, but I want to apologize in front of everybody. I did put you in a bad spot when I put out that clip the next day of saying you have a chance to beat up and take advantage of this after you guys just got your ass kicked the night before. I would like to apologize for that. You may continue.
It's all good, man. It happens. It's gonna happen at some points in this. That's all part of what we do. However, they bounced back the next two nights and beat Chicago. Had an off day, and then they lost the series to Detroit, which takes us to today. It sucks losing a series to Detroit because that's a team that you need to beat. I said this last week. These are two series that you should have at least won, if not swept. So for the fact that they lost a series to the Tigers, that does not sit well with me. However, if I want to have a silver lining in all of this, yesterday's festivities at the Little League World Series was phenomenal. I think that's such a great thing for the game of baseball, man. Kind of bringing these Little League kids, around guys that they look up to. And I was seeing clips everywhere. Jazz Chisholm Jr. yesterday was
what a
phenomenal. Seriously. Like, the way that he bought into the crowd, he started the roll call. Then he was in the stands with the kids, all game. That's such a cool thing for the game, man. It really is. And then there was a kid throwing a bullpen, and you got Dougie and I think it was
I saw Garrett Cole.
I forget. It might have been Garrett Cole, but I know Dougie was in there for sure, and he was hyping this kid up, man. Imagine being like a 12, 13, 14-year-old pitcher, and you got it doesn't matter that it's the Yankees. You got any major league players who are watching you throw this bullpen. I'd be shitting my pants as a fucking 14-year-old kid, man. That's what's so cool about this game, and what I absolutely love about it. And the Little League World Series, it holds a place in my heart, man. It's only like an hour up the road from where I live. It's such a cool thing, man. Can't say enough about it. Baseball did such a great job with the festivities yesterday, and then having Players Weekend. That turned out a lot better than what I thought. I'll say that. It still wasn't phenomenal. I still would have liked to see the jerseys, the whole 9 yards. But it did a lot better than what I thought. So I'll give them props where props are needed. Other than that, man, the Yankees sit at second place, a game back from Baltimore. Baltimore starts a series against New York, the Mets. Not feeling too confident about that. But then once they go out to Dodger Stadium, let's see what these Dodgers do. So I'm excited for that. But yeah, the Yankees start a series against Cleveland. I think this is one of their harder opponents for the rest of the year. You got to take care of business. I still think the Yankees are a better team than Cleveland when it comes down to it. So I'd like to win the series, at least. I'm not going to ask for a sweep against a team that's leading a division. I get it. But if we can get a win out of this series, I'll be more than happy. Kind of just keep winning, kind of keep afloat. Just go after that top spot in the AL East. And we'll see where it goes, man. Aaron Judge, though, what a guy.
So glad you brought him up to end this year. I want to ask you, honestly, it's August 19th. Do you think he'll break it? Do you think he'll break his own record of 62?
As much as I want to say yes, I don't think he's going to. He slowed down a bit. what I want out of Aaron Judge for the rest of the year is I want over 50 homers, which I think he's going to get. And I want that batting average over 300. If he can do that and bring home his second MVP, I'll be more than happy. But I swear to God, if he doesn't win MVP, I'm going to be pissed. That's where that's gonna irk me a little bit. And I don't think he's going to break the record, which, hey, if he doesn't, whatever. It doesn't have the same feeling to it as it did 2 years ago. You know, if we were doing this 2 years ago and we were in the middle of that home run race again, oh man, I get goosebumps thinking about it. That was the greatest season I have ever watched from an individual player, specifically because I'm a Yankee fan, but that season will forever live in my head, in my heart, everywhere. That's what it was phenomenal from start to finish. It doesn't have the same feeling, man. It doesn't. And I don't think he's going to get it, but I'm more than okay if he doesn't. But I want that MVP. That's how I'm going to say it. I want that MVP.
Yeah, and luckily you're not. Otani's not in the same league as you, where literally you have to break a record just to win it. Like, this year he's pretty much in a class of his own.
Bobby Witt Jr. is giving him a run for
That's
his money,
true.
though.
That
I'll
is
tell you
very
that.
true. I agree with you. I don't think he's going to break it. I think he's going to get close again. I think he'll
I
hit
think he will.
58, 59 again. But I don't think 62 or 63 is going to happen. I wish it would. It'd be great for the sport again. But yeah, you're right. It doesn't have the same feel as it did 2 years ago because nobody had broke that record in 61 years. But you
Yeah.
never know. I mean, he can get hot in the last 6 weeks again. You never know.
That is true. I've seen this guy go on tears, and you know he hits homers left and right. That could very well happen, and he could just blow that record out of the water for all we know. But when it comes down to it, I think he is going to end around that sweet spot where it's 58 to 60. I think that's where he's going to end with the season. Like I said, I'm okay with whatever he does, but like I said, baseball writers get it right. Please, MVP. It's got to be. That's the way I look at it.
I think they'll give it to him. I think they will. Unless you got anything else, I think that's it. This was a quick episode, man.
It was, but we're at 90 right now. We got 9 more to go after this. Crazy, man. It's been a journey. My God,
It really
man.
has, man. We're gonna continue to say that. See if we can do something special for 100. I'll put that out now. Should be around
Let's do it.
postseason World Series time. We'll figure something out. We'll figure it out.
We will.
We'll figure it out. I think that's gonna do it for episode 90. Look, I got a beautiful. Look at that. Oh, gorgeous right there.
Look at
You
that.
see that? It's nice and peaceful. You got the Mariners over here. You got the Dodgers on this side. It's gonna be fun. We got a lot of cool stuff coming to Dodger Stadium this homestand, so I'm very excited for that. I think that's gonna do it for episode 90.
I think that's it, man.
I will be back in my regular location next week. I promise. Dodgers are off next Monday. I do like it here, though. We'll see you next week. Adios.